Hello, everyone from around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is AST the Pair. Um, I'm not joined by Old Dirty H right now because he is running a little bit late. But hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Um, and we do have a bit of an announcement that I should have done this earlier. This is my fault for not doing so. I actually went and tried to. I hadn't tested 1080p at any point because I was really busy and it slipped my mind. But now I think we're streaming in 1080p. So, if we could get some viewer confirmation in the chat, make sure you can see it on 1080p and it's not super laggy or anything like that. That would be really awesome. We could get some confirmation by the chat. Thank you very much. So today we are going to be casting IND versus SDO. This is a group stage match. Just finishing up the group stage as the top 8 now is finalized. We're just finishing up our casting of the matches, make sure all of those games get cast because, we want to reward our players for sending in their replays on time. Even if those matches didn't affect the outcome of the top 8, we still want to cast them because we're looking forward to some exciting matches. So this is going to be IND versus SDO. IND, we have IND Predator, IND Faith, IND Lucky, and IND Knight Rider. And they're up against SDO with SDO Rocinante, SDO Rowan G. Ko, and SDO Jesus of Nazareth. And we see the same bands across the board here. Japanese, British, and Greeks. Fairly standard bands. All right. So I miss Oldie. He's not here currently. He's just I think he's running a little late. So we might actually do two casts today, 2 games today. I mean, but we'll see depending on the time arrangements here. All right. So before we jump into today's game, we've got to talk about the donations quickly. If you like the Nordic Classic and you want to support the prize pool, you can go ahead to the front page of the Nordic Classic and you can find the prize pool link on it. Also, this prize pool link is in the description below. And you can click on it, and it's a GoFundMe for the Nordic Classic. Thank you so much to everybody who's donated so far. That's Some Penis for Your Mouth, El Cypher, Wizard of War, Kron, PLA, Jatin, Bybrak. This anonymous person is Connor, as well as Bob. Thank you so much to those of you who have donated thus far. Really appreciate it. Nordic Classic would not be possible without your support, both viewerships as well as having people in the community spreading the word and having donors adding to the prize pool to just make things a little bit more exciting for the top 8. All right. That is going to about wrap it up for there. I don't think I have any other special announcement. Let's just jump into game, shall we? I haven't done a solo cast in a while, so pretty excited to see what will happen. All right, so this is going to be IND versus SDO. Game number 1. Does look like we are on Himalayas, and let's get started. I no even need for a countdown. IND versus SDO, game number 1. Let's take a look at the players and the nations on Himalayas. For IND, they've got IND Lucky with Aztecs, IND Knight Rider with Nubians, and IND Predator with Germans. And on the other side, we've got SDO Jesus of Nazareth with Aztecs, SDO Rowan G. Ko with Turks, and SDO Rocinante with Romans. I think pretty interesting set of nations. So we see the mirrored Aztec picks, but we do see there's Turks versus Germans as well as Nubians versus Romans. Clearly, SDO are going to be the aggressive ones, possibly, given that they picked Turks. So let's see what they can do with it. I do think I like all the picks here, and I don't think any particular team is favored. I guess I'd give the slight edge to IND. Nubians and Germans are a little bit better in the long term, especially on a booming map like this, the Himalayas. But if SDO can really get up in IND's faces, if they really get up in IND's faces, it can really make something happen here. So Himalayas is one of the more interesting maps when you have aggressive nations. It's kind of, there's always there's a couple of advantages of having a Turk player on your team, right? So first of all, you can rush, right? And you can have a really strong rush. And it's not only it's not only like you have that really strong push if you want to, it's also your opponents have to prepare for it. So they have to be constantly scouting you. They have to constantly be checking your territory, checking how much army you have, and they have to make army themselves. So they just they make sure that they don't they don't just die straight up to a Turk rush. And so as the Turk player, you can just go ahead and like, oh, if you see your opponent's booming a lot, or your opponent's like turtling up, getting towers, pumping out archers and stuff, you could just boom along, put down a wonder, put down your university, fill it with scholars, and get a faster age so you can get a medieval age attack. And that's kind of part of the strength of Turks. You never really know where they're going, you never really know what they're up to, and you have to constantly scout them in order to really make something happen. All right, let's take a look at where the players are located. On the bottom side, the orange Aztec player, IND Lucky. In the pocket, the light blue German player, IND Predator. And on the top side, the white Nubian player, IND Knight Rider. And against Knight Rider, right next to him, we've got the green Aztec player, SDO Jesus of Nazareth. And on the very left side in the pocket, we've got SDO Rocinante, the red Roman player. And the blue Turks player, SDO Rowan G. Ko. I do think the matchup here on the top at least favors the Aztec player because, Aztecs going mill first is not terrible for Aztecs. As long as you get in your raids and harass your opponent quite a bit. Here we do see Knight Rider. Let's take a look. He's gone for market first. Hasn't scouted many great rares in his territory. Only has Dye, which is a wealth rare. Wealth rares are good, and he looks like he has spent some of that wealth to buy some stuff, which is a good choice. But otherwise, it's going to take a while to get up his economy rolling. On this side, it does look like the Aztec player is doing a decent job booming up, getting the farms and stuff up as well. It definitely does not. It's not great for Rowan that he's so far away from his opponent, Lucky, on this side. But on the other hand, it also means that Lucky's not gonna go for a mill one and raid and slow down the Turk player, possibly, probably at least. We have seen some interesting tactics on Himalayas, anyways. So let's take a quick look at the ruin counts here early into the game. Does look like it's fairly even. Rowan has gotten 125 ruins, but Jesus of Nazareth only got 1. Rocinante and Predator both have 2, and then Lucky and Knight Rider have both 4. Actually, Knight Rider looks like he's gotten 2 more. I guess Knight Rider, it does slightly favor IND. Let's take a look at how each team's scouting is. Looks like both teams are just getting started. Nothing too exceptional. I will say Jesus of Nazareth really needs to scout in the backside as well, which he looks like he is doing. Looks like both of these players are actually a tad on the slow side. If we talk about the rares quickly, for SDO, they've got diamonds. Actually, I'll do this. They've got diamonds next to Techno Titlan. There's silver over here in the back. There's wine and tobacco and pappy kind of in the middle-ish. Then back over here, there's copper next to Rome. In the very left corner, there's spice. There's peacocks as well as gems over there. And there's marble here, and furs right smack dab in the middle. On the other side for IND, they've probably got obsidian, wine. There's wool next to Teotihuacan. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Bison over there. There's silk next to Berlin. That's a nice rare for the Nubian player. Horses, citrus, cotton, relics. It's gonna depend a lot on the center because a lot of these rares are a bit closer to SDO here. They've got pappy, they've got furs. There's furs there. It's going to be a lot depending on which team can really make something happen. It does look like the Nubians player are going to go for mill, and the Aztec player looks like still a little far away. Fortunately, just a little bit of a slow start for Jesus of Nazareth. Not sure what tech he's going to go for. Maybe this is a tempting commerce, but you really need to mill in this spot. Let's see what he does. And it does look like Predator is going to go for a city here. I like that choice. Nice defensive city here. Going to secure relics as well, and they haven't indeed scouted it. Yeah, it does look like Jesus of Nazareth is going to scout it, but the barracks is already coming up for Knight Rider. So this is going to be quite awkward for It's going to be quite awkward for SDO here. The Aztec player is a little bit slower than the Nubian player, unfortunately, because I think based on the ruin count, let's take a quick look again. Yeah, it's like double the runes, and also two of Jesus of Nazareth's runes were wealth runes, so that's going to hurt him quite a bit. On the other side, it looks like we're just going for a commerce civic here. If you take a look at the libraries here, looks like everybody's going for a fairly standard build. Roman's player is going to get the civic out, as the Aztec player, I imagine, also going to go for a civic here. And the German player is actually snuck in science 1 and is now going to go for commerce. And the barracks is going to go up. The citizen might get sniped. Rocinante is not paying attention. That's going to be the first kill. Bit of a mistake there for Rocinante. Gonna lose that citizen basically for free. He could have saved it, definitely. But Jesus of Nazareth just needs to defend this. He'll be a little bit behind, obviously, against the Nubians player who's had time to get out merchants and stuff. But if he can micro well and take out 2 or 3 of these units, I think he's in a not terrible spot. Looks like he's not queuing up any units currently. Bad choice from Predator here. You don't want to put down your market this early. Even though you're hurting for wealth, like you have... Oh, actually, wait, this is your first market. Never mind. Never mind. Solid choice. My mistake. Your first market's important. I was going to say the second market is really... You don't really want to do that. And it does look like Jesus of Nazareth's going to get a tower. He's realized, okay, well, I'm probably going to get raided, so going to get my tower up nice and early. Let's see if Knight Rider is able to scout it. Nah, it looks like he's just going to walk away. So that tower is going to finish for Jesus of Nazareth. So he's not going to lose his wood all that soon. And it looks like he's making a light infantry and a hoplite. Currently just sitting in his own territory. Really needs to make those move. He could snipe off this this merchant right now. Take advantage of the fact that Knight Rider's units are far in the back. We take a quick look at the scouting here. Neither team's scouting is exceptional. I think IND's scouting is a little bit better. But they're doing an alright job here. Knight Rider's still trying to move around the back. He scouted the wood camp, but he doesn't know that there's a tower there. Looks like the German player says, okay, I'm going to skip mill. I don't think that's going to work out because Jesus of Nazareth has some units here. I think it's a good choice for him to go to make use of these units. Although he's currently not doing a great job microing, he can target fire this merchant from the Nubian player. The merchant does go inside and save itself. And Rocinante doesn't have a second city yet. He needs to get that second city up and rolling as soon as possible. Looks like he does. Bit slow on the draw, you know. Clearly he's been hoarding a good amount of resources for a little while. Yeah, and they just haven't done a great job scouting the middle here compared to IND, who've scouted a lot of the rares. They're using furs and all that. It does look like the orange Aztec player has actually gone for mill first. I'm not sure if that's a great idea. You know, sure, you raid the Turk player, but the Turk player is also already going to be fast and it's going to get mill. I'd rather just get the second city down as soon as possible, I think, so it doesn't get denied or anything like that. It does look like we have some skirmishing over here, but not sure how many kills or how many units Jesus of Nazareth lost. Let's take a quick look at the kill count, because that is quite important early on like this. Looks like Jesus of Nazareth and Rocinante both lost 1, and Knight Rider has killed 1. Alright, so we do see in the chat the stream is lagging. Okay, alright, that's unfortunate. Yeah, my frame rate's way down. I don't know why. Alright, we're going to take a quick pause.